So this week we got a major project that's going to take most of the week to complete. We got to get our vegetables in the ground. This is the first time that we did in-ground vegetables, and especially a plot this massive. We're going to have a good harvest if everything grows properly. It's going to be trial and error. Help me along. Give as many comments as you can about what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, what I should be doing different. Because this is a learning process for me, and I need to learn from people that got experience, people that know what they're doing. Because I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. But we're really glad to get this on the go. Finally, our own vegetable garden, a big plot to put in lots of vegetables. So let's get at it. Yeah, I can see where a drought or a dry summer really affect your crop, because I mean, that's so dry right now. I mean, that's only a few days without rain, so you can imagine. Like, the soil is still damp underneath, but you can imagine if you had a couple weeks of no rain, very hot weather, how fast the moisture will be coming out of the ground. So we might have to set something up, bring up a few buckets of water, and just sprinkle some water on it if we get too much of a dry season. There's always ways. It just creates a lot of work, but in the end, if you can save your crop and get a good harvest, it becomes worth it. And then you learn from that for the next season. And that's why it's always good to talk to a farmer. They've been through many seasons of many different summers, many different growing seasons with so many obstacles, so many challenges. So they know what work and what don't work, what they've tried. They've learned from their fathers. It's passed down. That's the best farmers to talk to. So we're not out in the prairies. We're not, in Idaho. We're in Newfoundland. Our weather is totally different. Well, I think it is, but it's probably not, is it? We might not get as long off a growing season as a lot of places. And we may get cooler days, cooler evenings than a lot of places. But I guess the challenge is basically the same. Less rain, too much rain, it all creates the same thing on your crop. It's a lot of work. And this is the reason why people stick to raised beds. Yeah, raised beds. I can see why. A lot of work. I got a lot of vegetables though. A lot of vegetables. I got a raspberry tree to put up. Now, where would be the best place to put the raspberry tree? Definitely up there somewhere. Keep everything together. Because where we're to right now, where the camper is, the camper's going to be moved now to fall. All of this land here, right behind me, from the road inward, in a long ways, it's going to be coming up about 3 to 4 feet. So that's the project for the fall, get it raised up. And I do have a plan for my home, my future home. I'm open to start that this fall. That's the plan. And that'll be a project I'll work on over the next year or so. So hopefully it'll all come together. Just takes time, a little bit of money. And everything will come together eventually. Today we really got to get our seed potatoes in, along with our other seeds, as you can see behind me. We need to finish tilling this ground. This is a lot of work. Few rocks, not many rocks. See the big one right there? Well, hopefully we can move that to one side. If not, we'll plan around it. But there's just the odd small rocks, because this used to be a vegetable garden many years ago. So it's been tilled before. So it's really extremely good soil. I'm very excited about planting here this year. I think we're going to have a great yield. Very excited. Let's get this tilled. So I'm just going to put them on the deck from the dry. Just cut off a little bit of what looks to be maybe a bit of rot, and just put them down. Turn them over so the air can get at them. So this one, it's small, one eye, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to split them down this way. There's 2, maybe 3 eyes on that one. This one got 3, 4, 5. So can I cut and across that way? Now the question is, something this size, is that too small? Is that too small? I don't know. Please tell me. So next year at least, I won't make the same mistake twice. We're going to start putting in our seed potatoes. We're going to put them about, how deep? We're going to put them about 8 inches deep. So towards the edge, my first row, it's not tilled the best and close to the bank. So the rest should go a lot easier. So we'll see. So right now I got, I think 30 seeds for the first row, and that's Gold Rush. So we'll see what they're going to, or what the yield is going to be on that. Can I finish planting the potatoes? It's the 15th today. Shouldn't have to worry about any more frosts after the middle of June. The soil is warm, so that will give me that extra boost, even though people said get it in 1st of June. The ground is cold. That's what they're telling me. The growth will be slower than if you wait till the middle of June with the ground warmer. I was told that the growth will catch up. Slow growing, colder ground, faster growing, warmer ground. So it evens out in the end, according to what I've been told. Correct me if I'm wrong. Everyone has their own unique way of gardening. And there is right and wrong to gardening. And then there's a lot of things that is preference that works. So let's get that section over there finished tilling, which will take about another hour. Then I'm going to call it a night, and then I'll be back in the morning to hopefully get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. If I had a row of carrot, a row of turnip or rutabaga, and I like to have 2 rows of beets. What do you think? What do you think? When I come back tomorrow morning, I'm going to get the potatoes in. That's what I'm going to do. I was going to do the other seeds. Now that's late. It's late now, I know, for the seeds like carrot and turnip or rutabaga and beets. A lot of people grow them inside the greenhouse. Maybe a project for next year. Maybe a greenhouse next year, next spring. But for now, we got to deal with what we got. And so maybe we'll have a warm fall and we'll get lots of growth then as well. Who knows? Who knows? Can't predict the growing season. So it's early morning. We're back to finish putting this seed potatoes in the ground. We're going to do something a little different, and I should have thought of this before. Me and Dad, we drilled our own fence posts around the house. The back garden, we did all that ourselves by hand. Now, this was by hand, but it was very, very easy because we have all sand. Now, this ground right here has been tilled. Most of the rocks has been taken up. Still a few, the odd root going through the ground, but it should be fairly easy. I mean, we dug those holes without any trouble yesterday, so we're going to do something a little different. And I know you guys probably haven't thought of it, but have you thought about using an old ice auger? Now, most people said if I didn't see it, I wouldn't have believed it. Now, you can get the little augers for the drills to put in bulbs, but to get one for your drill this size, you can get it for the, actually for the ice, but air using the drill can be a little more dangerous, I guess, if you're hooking rocks. It's gonna jar your wrists pretty good, can do some damage. This one's by hand. If we're gonna hook a rock, it's not gonna jar our wrists at all. So this is gonna be fairly quick. So all we're gonna do is, same as you would if you're drilling a hole through the ice. Now that line is about 30 inches over. So we're just gonna drill down. Fairly simple, isn't it? We're going down 6 to 8 inches. I'm hooking a rock right now. Not a big deal. Bring it up, shake it off. Got a piece of stump. I'm gonna go a little bit further. Now you can see, took up a lot, but a lot falls back down. So I got a rock right down there. So the auger loosened it. Don't feel it now. There we go. Perfect hole. The rock was preventing it from going down. Sometimes you'll have a brain of our own. You want to keep it about 30 inches apart. There we go. And you're going to hook the hard rock just the way it is. A lot of times you can loosen it. If you want to kick the ground away like that and prevent a lot of them going back down. Very simple old ice auger. Cuts down through pretty good. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 O's out of 30. And then we got to do another 90 after this 30. Living off the land, living off the water, getting our own fish. 16. Not going to get 30 this drill. A little bit further apart, but that's okay too, because I think they say 12 to 15 inches apart. So further apart, you might get more tubers, you might get more potatoes. Closer together, you might get less, but you get more seeds put in. Probably even out in the end, but you might get bigger potatoes if they're a little further apart. Not sure how that goes either. Let me know. Let me know. Give me as much advice as you can, as many tips as you can. First year doing it, got me a lot of mistakes, learning a lot so far. But the curious thing is the harvest. You know, how many potatoes we're going to get, and then from there, I guess you can determine mistakes that you made, what you should do different the next year. Rather if it was too wet, too dry, not enough fertilizer, too much fertilizer. So we're definitely going to get some kelp. Dad's favorite fertilizer, kelp. We're going to get a load of that. So the last few days we tried a couple of different techniques of digging the holes for our seed potatoes. Well, we tried the regular shovel, square top shovel. The garden shovel is fairly flat, pretty good actually. Then we tried our auger, just a regular ice auger, an older one. But now we got a little garden shovel. It's a smaller size, so we're going to try this, see is it faster. And we definitely got a better tool here instead of that. I don't even know where it's to. It's not that good, but this one take up a lot of the dirt very quickly. So we got two nice tools. We're going to try this out. See, is this faster for digging the holes? At least, is it less work? Because when it comes to gardening, anything that we can find that's a little easier, save time, it's definitely worth the investment. Let's give it a try. This one, you're probably going to have to get down on your knees for. So far, seems like it's pretty good. Just got to get down on one knee. Shovel it down. Now we've been walking over this quite a bit last few days, so it's kind of a little bit harder than normal. But what I like about this shovel is it will cut the roots. So that's one benefit. If your soil got a lot of roots, this could very well be a handy tool. It's sharp along the edges. It is a garden shovel, so it do have a purpose. Different varieties that we have this year, I may buy more of certain ones. So it's nice to try different varieties. See the taste, the texture, if it's good for salads, if it's good for French fries. I mean, we love blues, We love blues, we love reds. They're incredible. So, and of course your whites. And mom and my brother really like a dry potato. I like a wet potato, but I don't like it too wet for salads. Prefer a dry, I guess, for a salad, but for a baked potato, I like a wet potato, not a dry potato. So, experimenting with different varieties to see which one we prefer the most, if it's a little bit in between, or so many of the dries, so many of the wets. Then next year we'll go from there. We'll determine how many rows, and that's probably the best way to determine how we're going to do everything here is per row. So if we can get 25 to 30 seed potatoes in a row, I guess that's what we'll go by if we need extra rows of different varieties. If we want an extra row of reds, we may cut back on another one. Or, you know, by the time we do this next year again, next spring, I might have more land. I might take out another section over there by the trees and use that for another row, maybe 2 rows. So there's gonna be a lot of changes in the next year on this property. So it's all being developed in the way that we want it to go. So keep digging, I guess. So right now this shovel seems like it's doing pretty good. You don't have to worry about the auger hooking little rocks, you know, that size rocks, not little tiny ones, you know, that size rocks that's hooked into the ground. Don't have to worry about the roots. So if your garden don't have any of that, auger is the way to go. But where we do have some roots, and we're still trying to get rid of most of them, then this shovel might be better. If I was looking for a longer shovel or a longer handle, but with this size shovel, Mom got one home, but the handle was very fragile, so I wouldn't take it. And but that's what I was looking for. But all they had was this short one, which I'm okay with it. Another tool to add to the garden. See, we got rocks there, so easier to hook it out with the shovel. And that way, seed potato can grab hold, form its roots, and pop out rock. There we go. Today, we're going to be planting some of our hostas that we have. We have, I don't know, it's 4 or 5 different varieties. We're going to get them in the ground. Then at this end, the best thing about hostas, once they grow healthy and they spread out to be a big hosta, you can always cut it in half or in quarters in early spring or late fall and plant them elsewhere. So this is a perfect spot to get them going. And as our garden grows and our property gets developed, we can always decide where we're going to place them. But for now, they're going there next to our vegetable garden. So we need to get these guys in the ground. We also have some raspberry bushes or trees or shrubs that's going up in that corner. So that corner is going to be my raspberries. I'm going to get some blueberries later, probably next spring. So that's the plan for today, and also get our rows developed, get our seeds in before we decide if we're going to put another row of potatoes or 2 rows of potatoes. We already got 3 rows, so if it's a low harvest, we should get over 300 spuds. But I definitely want another row of potatoes because I got some other types that I want to plant to see what they will turn out like. So we're going to get our rows done for our seeds and see how that goes. Get our seeds in the ground today. Let's plant our hostas. I don't know if I've gone through these before. But we got carrot, we got onion, we got two different types of onion, rutabaga, and let's see what we got here. And we got beets, the round beets, the good beets. So we're going to be planting my raspberry bushes right here. And what I like to do, my property line is up a little bit further and back behind those trees. So the plan for the fall is to actually extend. But I like for my raspberry bushes to go up here and then down across. Then that way I get a lot more area for my raspberry bushes. They're kind of out of the way. And I like to be able to extend back here another 2 or 3 rows and maybe a row over there. So taking a few more trees out, not a problem. Father will love that. And just grubbing off the surface and getting more room for our vegetable garden. So we have 3 beautiful plants here. So we're going to dig these in the ground. They should be at least 2 to 3 feet apart. So we're going to make sure we got lots of room for that. There's a root right here we're going to get rid of. Don't want to bury them too deep. Everything has a purpose, sucks to work. Because then it's everything becomes yours. Everything that you bottle, all your preserves becomes your preserves, your berries, your recipe, you know. Don't want to bury it too deep. So that's a good distance, I think. Let's get the seeds in the ground. So to do this, a lot of people will use their finger, but I'm just going to use, actually not drawing it very good, is it? I'm going to put another one along here. So this first one we're going to plant. So they're a pretty big seed. So very interested in trying both, of course, to see what variety we like the best. Now this is, of course, what we like the most. So I'm going to do 2 rows again. And that way we can kind of space them a bit. And I think this is maturity in 120 days. In 4 months. So we got July, August, September, October, the end of October. This sounds about right. Usually when they harvest the rutabaga, they're usually the last. So we're going to run two lines through this row, and get planting. We got our onions, 2 different types of onions, and we also got our beets, our beetroot. We call it beets. Some people call it beetroot. So the thing is about the beets is these are the round beets. Now they don't like weeds, so there will be lots of weeding to keep these clear off those pesky weeds. And a lot of farmers now stop growing the rounds. Some say, oh, there's no demand for it. There is, but a lot more work for the farmer, a lot more work. So the long beets, as far as I know, you don't have to weed those. But the round beets, and people would debate this, we like them a lot better because they're not as hard. It doesn't take as long to cook them. Now some will say, oh no, long beets are not hard. You put them side by side and you taste them, the texture is harder than these round ones. You can debate that all you want. That's a fact. You're going to disagree, but there is a difference in texture. It's not as hard as the long beet. Long beet takes longer to cook than the round beet. Debate it all you want. Facts is facts. Disagree. But the facts is facts. Some people you can't change your minds. But we've tried both. We've tested both. And these round ones are superior to the long ones if you want the best bottled beets. Argue all you want. You won't win. And then our onions will go into, I think we're going to put our onions in this one. And then our beets in the last one. If only I had my seeds earlier, could have did this on my vacation, could have came up every day for 3 or 4 hours or even longer. And in no time we could have had this done instead of, as we say, drip dragging this on and on and on due to work, due to other chores that came up. Our barn had to be built and grooming of the dogs had to be taking place and so many other things that came into play that slowed everything down. So next year, my vacation time will be set at a different time than what it did this year. And we'll get everything in the ground earlier. There was more work involved in tilling because this was freshly grubbed off, a lot of root. So it was difficult to till it. The excavator or the skidster kind of dug everything up to help break the roots, and that created mounds, which takes more time to beat it down with the tiller. So a little longer than what it's going to take next year. Next year, of course, we'll till it again, find a few more little rocks and a few more roots that we'll dig up, and hopefully over the course of a couple years we can get this to a really healthy garden. Now we're going to get some kelp in the upcoming weeks, so stay tuned for that. We'll definitely have a nice video on getting some kelp out of the Atlantic Ocean, out of the salt water, and putting on our garden, along with maybe some straw. That way we can till that right into the ground in the spring and bring more nutrients back into the soil, loosen up the soil. I might even put some sand in with this, get a load of sand that'll fall, get it spread, and till it in just to loosen it up, because this packs down very heavy, very hard. Very good soil, but a little too hard, compact. So maybe some sand added to it as well. So really hope you enjoyed this journey. It's been a long journey for me, kind of a short one for you, all in one video. So if you enjoyed this video, check out this one over here, and we'll see you in our next video.